The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are simply that, opinions. All are presumed innocent until proven otherwise in a court of law. Sensitive topics are discussed. Discretion is advised.
Christine Banfield was stabbed to death in her own bedroom. There were 3 other people in the room. Her husband and the father of her young daughter, Brendan, her au pair, Juliana Magalese, who was sleeping with her husband, Brendan, and a man who brought the knife, Joseph Ryan. Brendan is an armed IRS agent, and he shot Joseph Ryan. Juliana also had a gun that Brendan bought for her, and she also shot Joseph Ryan. The question is, who stabbed Christine? Prosecutors say it was Brendan. The au pair says it was Brendan. But now Brendan Banfield is telling his story to the jury about what happened as he faces murder charges and a potential life behind bars. Tonight, we are live from Virginia with all the big moments as the defendant takes the stand in the au pair affair murder trial.
What a big day inside of the courtroom. Wow. I'm Vinnie Politan. Great to have you with us here on Closing Arguments. Big hour coming up in the au pair affair murder trial. Let's begin with the victim, Christine Banfield. She was betrayed. And prosecutors say betrayed in 2 different ways. One way, an affair. 2 of the people who were living under her roof in her own home are sleeping together. One is her husband, the other is the au pair, right? So you've got Christine Banfield, mother of this little girl, wife to Brendan Banfield, working 12.5-hour shifts as a nurse, doing work as a sexual assault nurse as well. And the woman that she hired from Brazil is sleeping with her husband, and her husband's taking the au pair into their bed. Betrayal. But that's just the first one. Prosecutors also say that the 2 of them planned, plotted, and committed the murder of Christine Banfield. So these 2 people, Brendan and the au pair, they are both literally in hot water. Well, they're in a lot of hot water together. We've seen the photos. In the hot tub, in the bathtub. Is that all they do? Is that how they try to keep themselves clean when they're up to all this dirty business? She said that Brendan was in on all this. She said that Brendan is the one who stabbed his wife. She's told her story on the stand. Sweetheart deal, like the biggest sweetheart deal I've ever seen in a case like this, where she is at the end of the trial, packing her bags, and probably the government's going to pay for it, for her to get deported back to Brazil as a convicted felon. But she said her story, and she said what happened. Well, now we're up to what he said, Brendan Banfield, taking the stand as promised by his attorney in his own defense, telling his story to the jury. And what a story it is. So how is it that the husband/father ends up in bed with the au pair? I guess he's just too sexy, too irresistible, and the au pair could not help herself but just fall for him. That's his story, at least the beginning of his story. Take a listen.
When was it that this turned from a working relationship to something else?
In August of 2022.
Okay. Describe for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury how that happened.
So, in August, Juliana and I were home alone. Juliana showed me quite a few screenshots of her dating app. I believe it was Hinge, and the people that were in the Hinge app. We'd spent maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours talking about some random things, but also about her dating history. During this time, when she was talking about different people, she was described people that she was interested in, people that were taller, people that were older, and it appeared to me that she was, along with the photos, the screenshots that she had shown me of people that she had matched with, that she was basically describing me. She scooted her seat closer to mine a couple times.
And so what did you do at that point?
I did not stop her advances. She came with me into my bedroom. I had also indicated to her that I had previous affairs, and that really this was just an affair, and not that there would be no other relationship, that there's, and that basically that this is something that I have had affairs previously, and that there's nothing that changes in mine and Christine's relationship.
Now, was Christine aware of your affair?
I don't believe she was aware of the affair between me and Juliana.
Was she aware of your previous affairs?
She was aware of at least 2 previous affairs.
Okay, and likewise, were you aware of her affairs?
Yes, I was also aware that she had affairs.
All right. 2 important questions, two observations here. Number 1, it's not your bedroom. It's Christine's bedroom. That's number 1. Number 2, why on earth are you smiling as you describe all of this? Your wife is dead. And you're smirking about the Brazilian au pair allegedly flirting and seducing you because you're just so hot? Wow. Wow. Let's bring in Court TV correspondent Kelly Craft join us live outside the courthouse in Fairfax County, Virginia tonight. Big day, Kelly, as promised by his attorney. What was the reaction inside the courtroom to Brendan Banfield on the witness stand?
Hi there, Vinnie. Great to see you. It was a big day because we were on a court break. This is in the afternoon after hearing all day from the digital forensics expert from the defense on the stand. And then there was a little break in court, and then people were scurrying about saying, okay, who's going to be next? And so we went inside the courtroom, and it was Brendan Banfield. And so that one clip that you just played in which he is talking about the au pair coming onto him, at that point when he then is talking about both of them having affairs, meaning him as well as his wife, Christine, his sister, I was inside the courtroom and I saw it, appeared to be her sister shaking her head, no, Vinnie, as if to indicate that is not the case, that my sister is not having affairs. Also, the jury. Now, when you talk about the jury and their reaction in particular, when Brendan Banfield took the stand initially, I can tell you that one gentleman in particular, an older gentleman, had his hands crossed in front of him. So it was as if he didn't care what he was going to have to say. Another gentleman, a younger man, was just looking around the courtroom. And I've seen this before in a lot of the cases that we cover when defendants end up taking the stand. Some of the jurors just aren't even really that interested. They're listening, but not that interested in what they're having to say, which is kind of telling, as if to indicate they're not believing what he is saying. However, at the point when he began talking about Juliana Margulies coming onto him, how she was showing him screenshots of other gentlemen that looked like him, names were Brendan, Brandon, just like him, and how she was looking for somebody who was tall, just like him. Definitely a lot of the jurors began looking back at him or looking at him as he was talking, because as he's talking, he's looking at them, Vinnie. He's talking to them most of the time. So they began looking at him as he's continually telling the story about how Juliana came on to him. They went upstairs to the bedroom, the house. Her bedroom was on one side, the master bedroom on the other, and then she followed him to the master bedroom and went to bed with him. But let's listen to a bit of this testimony. This is him talking about how he feels about his wife, Christine.
Did you love your wife?
Very much.
Did you want to continue your marriage with your wife?
Yes.
So, Vinnie, at that point, that was in the beginning of the testimony in which defense counsel was putting up a lot of pictures of Christine Banfield and Brendan Banfield together. They were at, in particular, a mud event, like a mud run that took place. And so he was putting up a lot of pictures of them. The prosecution was objecting to relevance. Eventually, defense counsel moved along and got into that question, asking him how he felt about his wife, Christine.
Unbelievable. I'm looking at some of these photos. All right, how did he address the allegations from Juliana, his co-defendant, his lover, his au pair, the murder plot allegations? Because she got up there and she said exactly what prosecutors believe happened here.
Yes, and so really his indication to that kind of testimony is that just did not even happen, Vinnie. He's saying, you know, he doesn't know anything about if she did use any of the devices, Juliana, he wouldn't know about it. He never observed her once using any of Christine's devices. Also, he never used any of Christine Banfield's personal devices. And then he talked about this alleged plot. Here's what he had to say about that.
Did you ever create any sort of a plan with Juliana?
No, there was no plan. At this point, our relationship is maybe 6 to 8 weeks old. I think that it's an absurd line of questioning for something that is not serious, that a plan was made to get rid of my wife. That is absolutely crazy.
So, Vinnie, a lot of the indication so far has been I was having an affair, Christine was having affairs as well, just like I was. And now we have this au pair. Yes, this was just another affair. Christine and I had been to counseling before. We had both decided none of us are going to be exiting the marriage. So we're going to continue as we are. So in a way, why would I be changing anything for this particular au pair? So her allegations just aren't even true. And so that's what he was saying. It's just crazy to think there was any sort of plot. I'll also tell you, when he was beginning to take the stand, a lot of people in the gallery, not so much the jurors, but a lot of the people in the gallery, their eyes raised, the eyebrows raised as if, okay, here we go, buckle up.
Yeah, oh yeah. You know, the whole thing about Christine having affairs, she's working 12-and-a-half-hour shifts and she's got a 4-year-old daughter at home. Like, when is she doing it? She's not. To me, that's absurd, but we'll see what the jury thinks. But to me, it makes no common sense, right? She's working hard and she's a mother. Like, Brendan, I get his affair, right? The au pair is right there. You just have to go upstairs while your wife is working 12-and-a-half-hour shifts. Okay. What did he say so far about the morning of the stabbing and the shootings?
Vinnie, this was at the end of the testimony today, so we'll hear more about this tomorrow. In particular, tomorrow we're going to hear about the moments that Christine Banfield as well as Joseph Ryan were killed. But as court was ending today, Brendan Banfield was explaining that surveillance video that we have all seen from McDonald's. Our crew, we've gone over to that McDonald's. We have done the drive from that McDonald's to the Brendan Banfield house. We saw him circling around the McDonald's, then eventually going back through the drive-thru, ordering food. He had an explanation for that, Vinnie, on the stand. He was saying that his app, his McDonald's app, was not working, and so he needed to kind of circle through again in order to get the app updated or working properly. Then he ordered the food and ended up going inside. But let's go ahead and listen to a bit of his explanation as to what he was doing there.
As I was finishing up in the restroom, I received a call from Juliana.
And without saying what she said, what did you do?
I left the restroom and went back to my car quickly.
And was she alarmed at the time?
She sounded that she was very stressed.
Okay. And did you tell her that you were coming back?
I did not tell her that I was coming back on that original phone call. On the original phone call, I told her that I was going to call Christine.
Okay. And did you do that?
I did try to call Christine, but I did not reach her.
How was it that you were proceeding back to the house after the two phone calls that Christine didn't answer and the phone calls you received from Juliana?
I started driving quickly back to the house. I took the most direct route back to the house.
So that's kind of where we left it today, Vinnie, with those last comments from Brendan Banfield. So tomorrow, another big day because he's going to be returning to the stand. And we haven't gotten to the part yet of when Christine Banfield and Joseph Ryan were killed. So that we are definitely looking forward to hearing that. I want to point out something as well. So defense counsel had originally said that he was going to take the stand, the defendant. So we didn't know for sure because they didn't have the colloquy yet with the defendant, the judge and the defendant asking him if he was going to take the stand. That took place today. And when we talk about Brendan Banfield's demeanor, I can tell you from sitting inside that courtroom, when the judge is having that exchange with him, he does come across, Vinnie, as timid, as uncertain, as shy, as uncomfortable when he's talking with the judge as to saying, you know, I am going to go and take the stand. So just my own observation inside the courtroom. So then when he's on the stand and talking about the affair that he's having with Juliana, he definitely comes across as uncomfortable as well, smirking at times.
Yeah, it was really kind of weird and awkward. But, you know, it's that personality that really attracts the young ladies. That's what they love. That's what I hear. That's what the young ones love.
He had a lot of affairs, so he was
very popular.
Getting a lot of women, I guess.
He's a catch. He's a catch. All right. Kelly Craft, wow, great reporting. Get some rest. Tomorrow is the day. I think, is the make it or break it day for him tomorrow. Thanks so much, Kelly. Let's bring in our think tank live in studio tonight. Criminal defense attorney, former assistant state attorney in Miami-Dade County, that's down in Florida, and former assistant DA in Atlanta, that's in Georgia, Daryl Cohen. All right, also with us, criminal defense attorney, law professor Meg Strickler, and the man behind the glasses, criminal defense attorney Josh Schiffer. Wow.
Tomorrow may be the day, but in my opinion, it's D-Day. D-Day. Dumb day, defense day, dumb forward day.
Bye-bye. I can't wait for his cross.
It's going to be spectacular.
Yes.
Megan and I talked with Daryl about the cross. This is a full 5-course meal for anyone cross-examining Mr. Banfield.
Yeah, but I mean, tomorrow we're going to get into what happens inside that room. But tonight, I guess we start with the affair. What do you think?
Which one? There were so many.
It was me that she wanted. She described me perfectly, so I knew that there I was.
Gross. I'm so glad you picked up on that. He was like, she likes me.
It was so disgusting. I mean, how do you say there's humor in a horrible case?
I know.
Because within that horrible case, there's humor because you can only, in my view, laugh at him and laugh at the way he's testifying.
Absurd's a perfect word. It's ridiculous that he thinks that what he's saying.
Is the jury going to buy that Christine is having, because the fact of Christine having affairs is significant because of the man that is in her bedroom. How does he get there? So this is really the foundation for that. So if she's having affairs, then it's a little bit closer to her logging on to FetLife to have another affair.
Yeah, but where's all the ancillary? This is the way that we run our marriage. This is the way we run our life. Here we have Senior Lothario, hero, by the way, for single, maybe not the super most attractive middle-aged guys out in the universe. We really need someone to look up to because he's apparently the lover. Multiple affairs, which he's going to get cross-examined about. And then the details of this one, how does the logic that he's asking this jury to believe actually present itself? It doesn't link up. If he wants the jury to believe A, then he can't testify to C. And he did. And that's just going to gut him when it comes to integrity and legitimacy of the version of events he's putting forward.
Yeah, tomorrow he'll be talking about the murder. We're going to take a break right here. But when he talks about the murder, he's locked in. I mean, on the 911 call, he says it's Joseph Ryan who is stabbing Christine. So I can't imagine tomorrow morning he's going to get up on the stand and say that the au pair did it. Because if the au pair did it, he's got a gun. Shoot her. Stop her from murdering your wife. So it's got to be Joseph Ryan. He's got to stick to that. So I guess it's got to be Christine on there, because what reason would Juliana have to set all that up? It's bizarre. All right, let's do this. Think Tank staying with us. Is Brendan Banfield helping or hurting his defense? We'll talk about that. Plus, coming up next hour.
Tonight on Vinnie Politan investigates two brothers, two fires, one family wiped out. Prosecutors say the murders of Keith, Jennifer, Jesse, and Sophia Canera were fueled by money, betrayal, and a carefully staged illusion, while the accused brother insists that he is innocent. Was this a calculated family massacre or a tragic case of suspicion gone too far? Tonight, we investigate.
The Court TV podcast will return.
I was going to be going there anyways. She thought it would be fun to attend as well, as it was going to be out of the house. It was something that there wasn't going to be risk of being found out by Christine.
I was wondering about the gun training. It was just date night. That's all it was. Yeah, oh, I'm going to the gun range. Oh, can I go? It'd be so fun, you know? It'd be a fun little... Wow. Okay. Brendan Banfield on the stand. So he's being questioned about this gun range, and the FetLife thing comes up during the questioning. But I want just pay attention to Brendan Banfield and tell me if you think that this was an oopsie or not. Let's watch.
In having her come to the range, was there any plan that she was going to back you up on some plan?
I mean, there was no plan at this point when we had gone to the range. There was none of the suspect email account. There was no FetLife account. There was no Telegram messages. None of that existed at the point that we went to the range.
Okay. Now, did FetLife or Gmail or Telegram ever exist for you?
I did not know about them until after Christine died. I didn't get to see them until after Juliana's arrest.
What do you think? You know, at this point, there was no plan. So at what point was there a plan? I guess is the follow-up question, if he was on cross. All right, let's bring back in the tank. Daryl Cohen, Meg Strickler, Josh Schiffer. Was that an oopsie?
It was an uh-oh, oopsie, big scab. He's toast. And wait till you hear what happens tomorrow. I want to hear it because I think...
You're taking off work tomorrow so you can watch it, right?
I'm going to take off work for the next 10 years in order to watch it. Honestly, it's so unusual in a case of this magnitude, that's this horrendous, for a jury to be entertained. And I think they are smiling to themselves, if not externally, internally, and they're hearing what he is saying, and they think this is a joke, but the joke's going to be on him because it's D-Day.
His affect changed. I think that's the key part. His affect changed. Because I feel like they really practiced this testimony. And then it went off the script a little bit. So he's like, wait, I got to actually think about the answer. Wait, oh. And you could hear it in his affect.
He's stuck in his own contradiction. Either he knows his wife or he doesn't know his wife. And he can't have it both ways. And there seems to be some huge holes that any spouse would know about their spouse, that he's disclaiming yet also claiming credit for. It just doesn't pass the smell test.
Yeah, and how does he know when she went on FetLife?
She is a sane nurse. She worked in hospital. Right. She's familiar with some really unfortunate bleeding edge trauma. and you're going to try to say you know her well, but then you didn't know about this huge input. No, man, come on. That just doesn't jive.
It's a big deal. All right, let's talk about McDonald's. We know prosecution theory is that he goes to McDonald's, and here we've got some video of it. He kind of passes it once. The yellow is the drive-through. And then he comes around a second time and then goes to get his food at the drive-thru. There he is. I think he got some sort of a breakfast sandwich. Anyhow, the video doesn't make sense, right? If you're going around, are you just killing time? Are you just killing time waiting for the call? Waiting for Joseph Ryan to arrive so you can come to the rescue of your wife? What's going on here? Here's his explanation.
It did. I circled the drive-through.
What was the reason for that?
The McDonald's app has a QR code so that you get reward points and you can use the deals that you get. And when I initially opened it, it didn't provide me with my code. And that's why I was like blocking the drive-through. And so then I basically just got back in line once the code came up.
Here's the thing.
I'm an expert in McDonald's, man.
I've had so many body language experts on the show, and there's one theme that they all come to is that when people are lying, they over-explain this irrelevant material. The answer to the question was, I was trying to get the food on my app, but the app wasn't working, so I circled around, and then the app was working. He gets into the minutia of the QR code and all that stuff, which you know all about.
It's what Meg was just talking about, rehearsal. They've already identified. We workshop cases. What are the danger points? What are the danger points? Oh, what happened in the McDonald's? Well, I circled around a couple. All right, when they ask you about that, you're going to have a really good explanation for why you didn't just pull into a parking space and make the app that is so dumbed down anybody in America can use it, except for you're going to struggle with it, okay? That's the extra information that they're talking about.
But he didn't connect, because like we all use Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks apps to get the free drink. We all can identify with that. So you could have actually connected with the
I only use
jury.
Jersey Mike's.
Well, frankly, I haven't been to Chick-fil-A since today.
All right, when we come back, we've got more Brendan Banfield, but in a much different situation. We're going to show you a big piece of Brendan the morning of the murders. That's next.
Now, back to the Court TV podcast.
There was no plan with Juliana on February 24th. As far as I knew, Juliana was going to be going to the zoo with Valerie, and Christine had just taken off from work, and I understood that she was going to be home, but I didn't know anything else.
Okay, so that's him on the stand, right? You testify, you have time to prepare for that. On direct, you actually know the questions ahead of time. So that's one situation. I want to show you now Brendan Banfield, the morning of the murders, where we've got body camera video where he, is in the hospital the moment he finds out his wife has died. But just let's watch his demeanor and his reaction, because the jury saw it, so it's evidence. Let's take a look.
Somebody get behind her. She's big, really, so she's going to go up to Robynn, obviously. That's going to be the closest one to that. He's obviously going to be
Hey, can you check him out?
Yeah, I got more units here. We'll check him out. He's starting to break down.
Stay sorry. I'll just do walk through, okay?
What did you say? Okay. We're gonna have to get him out of here.
Yeah, I know.
Can you give him a second? Don't touch anything else.
I'm not. Let me change my gloves out. We can get him out of here. Knives there. Guns are on the bed.
I got you.
We're gonna take him and stick him in a freezer.
Yeah, I gotta hook him up, guys.
Having a breakdown.
Yeah, just give him a second.
I gotta put him on the monitor.
Yeah, go for it. Is she okay? So the fire department, they take over at this point? We're kind of just here. Is she breathing? So again, they're down there. What I want to do is get
Just
you
watch what
upstairs,
you're
get you
kicking,
outside,
please.
get active. All right. Does that work?
I know what you got to do. I'm just.
If you can't walk, we can wait a minute. You need a minute?
I think, yeah, I'm just getting you some fresh air right now as well, okay? So if we can get you outside.
You got gloves on? Yeah. Can you help him? Just be with him?
Yep.
Whenever they called us, what's your name?
Brendan.
Banfield.
Say, Brendan Vienna.
Easy.
Sorry, say it again.
So you live Vienna?
My office is in Vienna. Correct. Did you call my office?
No.
I need to call my manager at some point.
It's the least of our worries right now, man.
We're just gonna get you in a cruiser outside in the air where you can breathe. You're okay, okay?
We'll check him out when we get him over to the car. Watch out, watch out.
Step off into the grass? Yep.
What's wrong with your right leg, sir?
I don't know, maybe just nervous.
Okay.
I'm gonna be fine.
Is anything bothering you right now?
I feel unsteady.
Okay. Were you hit with anything? A knife? Anything?
No, I took the knife. I took the knife from him.
Okay. All right. So you're not hurt anywhere. Is that not your blood, correct?
I think it's.
All right. You want to slip this jacket off for me so we can evaluate you real quick? I'm gonna have you kick your other foot up for me. Where'd all this blood come from? Do you know?
I was holding her neck.
Okay.
Figuring that out, sir. Sir, was yours the Glock 19 with the TLR?
Mine has the light, yeah.
With the light on? Okay.
My other gun. My other gun is my personal weapon.
Oh, that's the 43X?
Yeah.
So both those are yours?
Both of them are mine.
Okay, the ones that we saw on the bed, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Just take a seat on the bed for me.
You just said that she didn't make it.
I didn't hear what he said, sir.
The cotton and stuff probably needs to be switched out.
Can you have someone check this in again?
Okay. What is the nature of the incident?
Check what?
The status of his wife, ma'am.
Hi, sir. My name is Gina. I'm one of the doctors here. Your wife has died. So sorry. Were you there at the time?
Yes.
You were there at the time. So is there any part that I can help? I can explain what happened when she arrived here, but you were there and it sounds like there was a lot of blood loss.
Yes.
And so I think that she died of blood loss. Her airway was actually okay. I'll call the medical examiner, of course, and we'll do an autopsy and make sure we know for
Yes.
certain. But
I was trying to apply pressure.
yeah, I mean those were enormous wounds, and it's not.
There were so many.
Yes, and the neck is not compressible, so it's not possible really to stop all the blood loss. And her airway, it seems like, was in the midline okay. She was able to be intubated. Everything that was possible to be done was done for her right away. You did a wonderful, you did everything that was possible. It's not a survivable injury.
Right? The jury saw it, so the jury will judge it. Right? Was that better or worse than Daryl on In Heat of the Night?
I came back to life, though.
You did?
I did.
The tough
The
thing,
next time.
people love to jump to, oh, this is how you're, supposed to react in a traumatic situation. I don't like that line of arguments because everybody reacts in a different way.
Sure.
But it has to be congruent with loss. And I think that this fits, but I think it also asks a bunch more questions in your mind because knowing what we know now about his involvement and what he claims he doesn't know, but what we know he absolutely knew.
Also, I think the doctor was saying things and giving details in a way that was like, I think you did it. And it's an interesting viewpoint to see right after the storyline hit. She doesn't know anything. She's a physician in an ER. But yet you can kind of see her judging, this is how I view it, and then thinking, because she's not offering any kind of compassion. She's talking about all the horrible things, how they intubate her, and they tried everything, and it was a massive amount of blood loss. And she's just going, why don't you feel upset? Like, he's crying, but it seemed like crocodile tears.
I am so delighted that the jury has an opportunity to see and hear the video. Normally, people testify about this sort of thing. Now they can be enthralled and watch everything that goes on in that courtroom as they have and as they continue to do, and they can make their own decision based on not only what they hear as evidence, but what they see as evidence. The video is dispositive.
And it's agnostic, the video. It doesn't matter how it gets discussed by either the prosecution or the defense. It's the best evidence because it's what happened.
Speaks for itself.
Absolutely, and that's why.
We think back to the olden days, right? Like early on in court TV, before we had body cameras, we would hear the testimony about people, and then the witnesses would be judging defendant's reaction, whereas now we don't need that.
And that presentation narrative, the I'm the first to say, that gets decreased when we've got such solid things as video, contemporaneous, it's not edited, this is super legitimate, and if any side is pushed too hard, the jury goes back to that video to base their decisions.
Does it help him or hurt him? What do you think?
Yes, I think it hurts him, and what I love is the video is so upfront and near your face. I suspect if we could see the jurors, we would see them on the edge of their chairs rather than sitting back. And that body language says everything.
I think they do, because this is the Johnny Depp courtroom. And as I recall, I think they have individual monitors, so they each get to lean in and watch those videos.
I agree.
Help or hurt?
I think it's going to help the prosecution.
Will help the prosecution, okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't certainly create any giant gaping hole for the defense to jump through and say, aha.
No.
It doesn't function in that way.
It's the story of my life, piece by piece by piece, that has convicted him based upon what he did, how he's testified, and the other evidence against
Well,
him.
let me ask you this. Which is more important or compelling so far? His reaction then or his testimony now?
That's a good question.
I think it's the same. They are so diametrically opposed to each other that the jury can go collectively scratch their head. Wait a minute, what is it? I got it. I know what it is.
Yeah, I do think he shows himself being a narcissist, very self-absorbed in his own little planet. I think that's been really proven by his behavior the whole time that we've been at trial. His testimony today and that video.
And really, it's the contextualization. Standing independently, either one of those bits of evidence would be somewhat persuasive, but when you combine them together, it proves exactly what kind of person he really is. And I don't think that helps his case.
Why do you think he's testifying?
Because his
Narcissism
ego
again.
says, I must testify, and I am so persuasive that they will believe me. What do you got? Bippity boppity, guilty.
Yeah, state's got such a great case, the only way you have any chance at walking out of here is if you take the ultimate gamble, and he did.
Yeah.
Okay, so does the jury compare his testimony versus the au pair's testimony and say, who do I believe more?
100%. 100%. They're going to put all of it together, like on a whiteboard, so to speak.
Because she wasn't very endearing either.
She's got self-serving liar as well. Yeah.
They were two peas in a
soulless
pod.
on the
no,
stage.
She's back to
Brazil. I just want to get back to Brazil. All I want to do is get back to Brazil. I'll do whatever I have to
Well,
do.
that's a problem for prosecutors, though. The jury thinks that she's doing whatever
Normally,
she can.
but there's too much evidence in addition to what she testified to, whether she be telling the truth, the whole truth, part of the truth,
I think
or
part
no
of the truth.
Yeah, and it's part of the truth because the jury was going to dislike the au pair no matter what 100% going in. But she, even though maybe a bad person, she's got a lot of believability.
She's not the
built
mastermind.
in. Yeah.
She's not the mastermind.
No.
All right. Big thank you.
Thank you.
Daryl Cohn, Meg Strickland, Josh Schiffer. See you again real soon. All right, folks, don't go anywhere. When we return, I will reveal something else you need to know, plus coming up next hour.
Tonight on Vinnie Politan Investigates, before dawn, a house fire erupts. Hours later, another blaze reveals a horrifying crime scene and a family dead. Investigators say Paul Canero used fire to hide murder and mislead police. But his defense says the evidence tells a very different story. Will a jury believe prosecutors' chilling narrative, or could this brother walk free? Tonight, we investigate.
This is the Court TV Podcast.
Welcome back. Time to reveal something else you need to know tonight. Let's take a look at the big board. Baby not on board. I'm about to show you a video. It's a little shocking. A 19-month-old child falls out of the front seat of an SUV. There's a car right behind, almost hits the child. The child did sustain some injuries, but is okay. Let's take a look at this video. There's the SUV. There's the baby. Wow. Wow. Let's slow that down for you. We'll show it to you. There comes Mom. Mom scoops up the baby, gets back inside the SUV. Here we are in slow. You can see right there, the baby coming out of that front seat. The white car, driver of the year in that white car, saved the baby's life, paying attention to what was going on, and was able to stop. And then the yellow car comes, and Mom grabs the baby. Wow. Now, so far, no charges against Mom, but was arrested and then released. So we'll see what happens there. But this is miraculous, absolutely miraculous. And again, great job by the driver of the white vehicle behind. We don't, why was the baby in the front seat? Why is the baby unsecured? How did the door get open? Tons of questions. But the good news is the baby is okay. Please take a look at your screens. We have another child who needs your help tonight. This is Destiny Gill. Destiny is missing from Kahului, Hawaii, 16 years old. This is what you can do. Pick up the phone, make a call, make a difference. 911, 1-800-THE-LOST, or you can call the Maui Police Department in Hawaii. Let's see if we can get Destiny to a safe place tonight. Don't go anywhere. We have another hour of live true crime. Vinnie Politan Investigates is next. In the meantime, please don't forget to hug the kids.
There you have it. If you want to see more in-depth reporting on the latest true crime stories, you can see me every weeknight, 8 p.m. Eastern on Closing Arguments. Thank you so much for downloading. And as always, please don't forget to hug the kids.
This podcast is a production of Court TV. Go to CourtTV.com for more content, trials on demand, and to find out how to watch Court TV in your area.